ESPN predicts the Georgia Bulldogs will miss the 2025 college football playoffs. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs and the fact that ESPN is predicting them to miss the college football playoffs. If you're a Georgia fan, you might not want to watch this video because, as you know, I am a certified Georgia Bulldog hater, and I am not ashamed of it. But me, along with ESPN, believes that y'all won't be good enough to make the college football playoffs in 2025. Now, Georgia, they've been running things as of late, all until they face my Alabama Crimson Tide, I must say that. But they've been running things as of late. Ever since 2021, they've been the team to beat. And my Alabama Crimson Tide has done it on multiple occasions, okay? Yeah, we lost the 2021 national championship to them. But that's the only loss my Alabama Crimson Tide got against those Georgia Bulldogs since Nick Saban's first season. And that was 2007. But Nick Saban is not there no more, okay? But we still went on in 2024 to spank that ass. That's all I know. Now, those Georgia Bulldogs, they won back-to-back national championships. Okay, they was going for a three-peat. They was whooping everybody until my Alabama Crimson Tide got in the way. Whooped them for that 2023 SEC championship. And then again, whooped them last season, 2024, in an epic game. Epic. Now, my Alabama Crimson Tide straight mollywhopped their ass in the first half. And then in the second half, those Georgia Bulldogs came out and put it to my Alabama Crimson Tide. But in the end, it was my Alabama Crimson Tide that came out with the win, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But all of that is in the past now. It's 2025 will be a brand new season, and my Alabama Crimson Tide got to travel to Athens, Georgia, Sanford Stadium, between the hedges. And I'm predicting that my Alabama Crimson Tide once again will get the victory. Now, I know this home game win streak of those Georgia Bulldogs over, I believe it's like at 32 now, 32 straight home wins. But at the hands of my Alabama Crimson Tide, that will end. I have no doubt in my mind. But I guarantee you, damn near every Georgia Bulldog fan got doubt in their mind when it comes to playing my Alabama Crimson Tide. I don't care where it's at. There's one thing about it. Those Georgia Bulldogs can't beat my Alabama Crimson Tide nowhere in the state of Georgia. Nowhere. I don't give a damn if it's in Athens, Atlanta. I don't care. Macon, Columbus. It don't matter. Those Georgia Bulldogs can't beat my Alabama Crimson Tide in the state of Georgia, nor in the state of Alabama. We do know that. But let's get to what ESPN had to say about these Georgia Bulldogs and them missing the 2025 college football playoff. ESPN is predicting that Georgia, which under Kirby Smart has become a certifiable powerhouse, will miss the 2025 college football playoff. Georgia, which overcame its close but no cigar reputation by capturing back-to-back national titles in 21 and 22. And my Alabama Crimson Tide put a stop to that shit in 2023. Anyway, they won back-to-back national titles in 21 and 22. Was predicted by ESPN to miss out entirely on playing for it all in 2025. The Bulldogs did just miss the playoffs in 2023 when they were going for a three-peat. But that was under the 14 playoff format. Had the expanded format that exists now been in place a few years ago, Georgia would have made it. That's fact. And another fact is, it don't matter because the 12-team playoff wasn't in place and they didn't make the playoffs in 2023. Just like my Alabama Crimson Tide in 2024 didn't make a 12-team playoff. And yes, I'm still upset about it. Sure is. And I won't get over it until my Alabama Crimson Tide make the 12-team playoff, which they going to do in 2025. And it's possible that my Alabama Crimson Tide will go on and win the national championship in Coach Kalen DeBoer's second year as head coach of my Alabama Crimson Tide. Because guess what? We got the team to do it with. We got the experience. We got the players. We got the talent. We got the coaching staff. We got it all. All the ingredients to win a national championship in 2025. I can't say that about those Georgia Bulldogs and a lot of other teams for that matter. But anyway, keep it moving. Last season, Georgia dealt with some uncommon adversity, even as it was busy winning the SEC championship. Congratulations. Starting quarterback Carson Beck injured his elbow against Texas. Couldn't play in the playoff game against Notre Dame and eventually transferred to Miami. Georgia lost that playoff game to Notre Dame, and now ESPN is predicting that Smart's football machine won't even make the playoffs in the new year. Carson Beck's elbow injury ain't had nothing to do with Notre Dame tapping that ass. With or without Carson Beck, Georgia was going to lose that game against Notre Dame anyway. Georgia couldn't do a damn thing against that Notre Dame defense. Not a damn thing. Nothing. And they couldn't stop nothing. So they was going to lose that game anyway. Carson Beck being absent had no bearing on the outcome of that game. That's all I know. But anyway, here's what ESPN David Hale wrote about the Dogs. For the better part of 3 seasons, the Bulldogs seemed invincible. Only an injury-plagued, one-score loss to Alabama in the 2023 SEC title game might have prevented Georgia from winning 3 straight national championships. It may have, but all this damn injury-plagued shit, it wouldn't matter. Alabama was going to whoop that ass anyway. I don't want to hear about no injuries. Georgia fans don't want to hear about no injuries way back in 2021 when John Mechie and daggone Jamison Williams was hurt. You don't want to hear about no injuries when it comes to Alabama, but you want to bring up injuries when it comes to you bums. Don't want to hear it. You just got your ass whooped. Plain and simple. But anyway, they would have been, probably competing for that 3rd straight national championship had Alabama not got in the way. And yet, by the end of 2024, it was clear some of the shine was off the once dominant program. Carson Beck struggled without much help from the skill positions. The Dogs lost to Alabama, were whooped by Ole Miss that they was, and nearly fell to Georgia Tech before escaping in 8 overtimes. Georgia Tech, really. That was a nice game too. Damn good game. Anyway, Georgia Tech is coming up. But anyway, they escaped in 8 overtimes. By the time Notre Dame eased past Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, it was pretty clear Kirby Smart didn't have a championship level team. So, will 2025 be a return to greatness? It's possible, but the SEC is stacked with games at Tennessee, or Georgia is stacked. The SEC is stacked, and with games at Tennessee, home versus Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss, and the rivalry showdown versus Florida, there are ample opportunities to stumble. Is 8-4 possible? Would a 9-3 Georgia be a sure bet for the playoffs? Hell no. Could things get worse? Hell yeah. When the standard is dominance, it's hard to maintain that standard for long in today's college football. It is hard to be dominant for a long period of time in today's football with the NIL and the transfer portal, but it's possible. Okay, it's still possible. But anyway, could they be 8-4? You damn right. I feel like they can be 8-4. Hell, if you ask me, I feel like they can be 7-5. That's just me, but I doubt it. I ain't going that far. I was there at one time, but when Nico left Tennessee, then I cut back on that. All right. And then I look at how much Texas lost. They got Texas on the schedule. How much Texas lost? Texas lost just as much as Georgia from last season. So we'll see how it all works out. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I felt this way last season when Georgia went up against Florida. DJ Lagway wouldn't have got hurt. Florida would have won that game. I clearly believe that because they lost to Alabama. They all lost to Ole Miss. I feel like they would have lost to Florida. But that injury to DJ Lagway, it was a good possibility that they could have lost to Georgia Tech. A damn good possibility. They had a couple other close games too. And now, off of that team in 2024, they have lost so much. I mean, a lot. A lot. I'm not, now with Tennessee, I know Nico left, but I still give Tennessee a chance to win the game. I still do. I think it's a 50-50. I feel like they can lose to Ole Miss once again, even though they play Ole Miss at home. I already know that they're going to lose to my Alabama Crimson Tide. No doubt about it. No doubt. Who else? 50-50 against Georgia Tech. I'm going them 51-49 that they'll beat freaking Texas. But I don't want to give all my little predictions away dealing with these Georgia Bulldogs. Now, I agree with ESPN. I agree simply because of how many players and how much talent and how much production they lost off last year's team. Now, if it was anybody else, especially my Alabama Crimson Tide, if Alabama had lost the amount of production and talent off their team, they'll be writing Alabama off. They'll write them off. At least Georgia Bulldogs fans will, because they'll be talking, y'all lost too much, y'all this, and y'all ain't got that no more. But since it's them who lost all this, and they ain't got this player and that player no more, oh, that don't matter. It always don't seem to matter, when Georgia lose a lot of players. This is in Georgia players' mind. I mean, Georgia fans' mind. It don't matter the amount of players you lose. But every other team, when they lose a plethora of players, y'all ain't got this no more. Y'all ain't got that no more. Y'all ain't going to be this. And when it comes to games, like when my Alabama Crimson Tide won the SEC championship over them, it didn't matter. SEC championship don't matter. But now they won the SEC championship. Oh, we the SEC champions. We the defending. Man, shut up. Them Georgia Bulldog fans is nothing more than a whole bunch of hypocrites when it comes to my Alabama Crimson Tide. They themselves know my Alabama Crimson Tide is better than their beloved Georgia Bulldogs. They know this. And another thing, I ain't the only one. ESPN and OKB ain't the only one that really don't believe in them Georgia Bulldogs heading into 2025. I'm telling you, you got to show me. You got to show me. And until them Georgia Bulldogs show me something different, this is the mindset that I am in concerning those Georgia Bulldogs. And I ain't coming out of it until they show me something different. Until they can beat my Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'm damn sure in this mindset. And you got my Alabama Crimson Tide game 4, like I said, Sanford Stadium, Athens, Georgia, between the damn hedges, a place where my Alabama Crimson Tide ain't never had no problems of winning. And if you go look at it, Georgia fans, my Alabama Crimson Tide in head-to-head meetings with your Georgia Bulldogs in Athens has doubled the wins that y'all have against my Alabama Crimson Tide in Athens, 13-6. Say it ain't so. But anyway, it's not only me and ESPN that don't believe in them Georgia Bulldogs. It's a website called Dawn of the Dog. And they talking about Georgia Bulldogs and that home win streak ending in 2025. Not even part of the Georgia Bulldog fan base believe that this win streak can get past 2025. They don't even believe it. You know why? Because they got an Alabama Crimson Tide coming to town. But anyway, I'm going to just skip to this. Who could break Georgia's home win streak in 2025? The streak is remarkable considering how talented the SEC is year in and year out. But Georgia's home win streak this coming season is potentially the hardest it has ever been throughout the streak. So who are the teams that have the best chance to end this streak during 2025? Oh, it's the hardest. Yeah, it's the hardest because y'all know that shit gonna end in 2025. Game 4, week 5, I believe September 30th. Y'all know that shit gonna win September 29th or some shit like that. But anyway, Georgia's first 2 games of the season are at home against Marshall and Austin Peay. What a damn shame. So there's no real threat for Georgia streak ending there. But the following home game presents a serious challenge for UGA. Serious. Almost impossible. The Bulldogs' 4th game of the season is a home date with Alabama. And it's the Tide that might have the best chance of ending Georgia's streak. After Alabama, Georgia's next 2 home games are against Kentucky, which should be an easy win, and Ole Miss, who Georgia will be a solid favorite against. Well, you was a favorite against Ole Miss last season, and they straight whooped that ass. I'm sure y'all remember that ass whooping. As a matter of fact, I think that ass whooping was worse than the ass whooping Notre Dame put on you in that playoff game. But anyway, after a few weeks on the road, Georgia will face their next serious threat in Texas, who will be extremely motivated to beat UGA after losing to the Bulldogs twice last season. The final home game of the year for Georgia is against Charlotte, which again will be an easy contest for Georgia. That's true. But let's talk about Texas. We'll talk about Texas. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll talk about Texas. Texas, yeah, they'll be extremely motivated. I think these 2 teams will be evenly matched. So Texas, Arch Manning, Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, 2 first-year quarterbacks. But by that time, they will be well seasoned. Let's just hope and pray that everybody can stay healthy throughout the season, and both teams will have their starting quarterback. Everybody will have their starters. But anyway, both of them replacing quarterbacks. Both of them replacing running backs. Now, I think Nate Frazier might be the best running back in this game. Nate Frazier is a hell of a running back. But then you got the wide receiver core. Both teams replacing wide receivers. Both teams replacing basically their whole offensive line. Defensively, I think both teams will be evenly matched. So, like I said, I'm going 51-49. Georgia will win this game. But like I said, it won't be no surprise if they wind up losing. Not one iota. But then again, you look at Texas got Steve Sarkisian calling plays, and Georgia got Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo might be your downfall, Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart should have got rid of Mike Bobo at the end of last season. Plain and damn simple. But he's sticking with him. He's loyal to him. Now, Mike Bobo might be something different this season. But until he can show up, shit, I don't believe it. But anyway, OKB, ESPN, I'm not believing in them Georgia Bulldogs this year. I just can't do it. Now, I'm Georgia Bulldog now. Since 2021, they been on to something. Yeah, I seen a slight decline since 2022. After the 2022 season, even though they was undefeated during the regular season, in 2023, I felt like it still was a slight decline. They weren't looking like they did in 2021 and 2022. 2023, like I said, they weren't looking the same. 2024 last year, they definitely weren't looking the same. Definitely wasn't looking the same. They had a lot of close wins. Of course, they had a lot of close wins in 2022 also. But they definitely had a lot of close wins last season. So, and then the 2 losses during the season That's not Georgia. And then the way they lost to Ole Miss and to Notre Dame, and the way Notre Dame ran on them. Oh my goodness, hell no. And let us not forget the way my Alabama Crimson Tide did them in that first half of that game. That certainly didn't look like a Georgia Bulldog team of the previous 2 or 3 years. So yeah, they on the D-damn climb. Damn sure wills. But anyway, Georgia Bulldogs, I don't give a damn if you don't like what I said. It's the damn truth. And you can call it hating or whatever it is. Some people call the truth hating. That's all it is. Now, y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.